They swing with both Goyfs. They're just dead. I'm confused. Hello and welcome everybody. It has been a while since I was able to post a video, and that is for multiple reasons. One, I started med school. You can probably tell I'm in my scrub tops right now, and I actually have class in about an hour, so I have to make this particular recording a little short. But in addition to that, my laptop also just stopped functioning. The charger wouldn't charge it, and I'd replaced the battery, replaced the charger, nothing worked. So I'm also operating on kind of a replacement setup here. That's also why the stuff around me has changed. It used to be like mostly like pink and red, and now it's in blue just because I felt like changing it up a little bit since I was remaking it anyways. Probably go back to the red one when I get my old laptop fixed. But anyways, regardless, we are here to play a little bit of Amulettitan. And if you've been following the Amulet scene at all, you'll know that right now people are doing some crazy stuff. There's Hydra Crisis in the sideboard, sometimes even one in the main. Some people playing as many as 4 copies or as few as 2. You know, there are people playing Sakura Tribe Elders. There are people playing Scapeshift and Amulet. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on. And honestly, the one thing that I have not seen people doing up to this point is just playing a cookie cutter, bread and butter, easy, just like everything makes perfect sense Amulet list, not playing any nonsense. And so I like to be one of those types of people who goes against the grain, and in this particular case, going against the grain means going against the people who are going against the grain. So today we're playing your bread and butter, just typical Amulet list with nothing super notable going on here. The most interesting things this list is doing is playing only 1 Cultivator Colossus and none in the sideboard, and playing a second copy of Engineered Explosives and a Singleton Tireless Tracker. And the second Boseiju, I guess, is kind of abnormal as well in the sideboard. But, I mean, honestly, it's not that abnormal. I mean, everything else is very, very standard. Got the full 4 Explorers, 0 Sakura Tribe Elders. I've, in the past, played 1 as a pack target so that we could have something against Magus of the Moon. But we're just going to hope that Magus never stays in play thanks to Dismembers, or that we can play around it or something along those lines. And, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this list, as you might imagine. Hopefully, you guys appreciate me trying to jump back into this. I have no clue when this will get posted from when I'm recording it now. That'll just depend on my schedule, but I do plan on continuing to make content for you guys, so if you appreciate that, then leave a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys in match 1 here. Alrighty, let's hop in here. I'm also now noticing that I have a notification that says this league ends on 8/31/2022, so I guess I will be finishing this by the next couple of days. And this hand is pretty awful. I mean, we'd be playing a turn 3 Dryad if we go Saga into TOS into Bounce Land Dryad, but that's not really doing anything. I think we can easily do better on 6. Yep, this hand's better on 6. We get to either activate Saga on turn 2 or play turn 2 Dryad. We have a pact to get our Titan. We are going to bottom the redundant pact here, I think. If our opponent leaves on turn 1 Ragavan, then we'll have Grazer to roadblock it. Or if they're on a controlling deck, then we'll be able to start pumping out Saga tokens. So, Steam Vents. And Ragavan. Well, I mean, I did call it. I wasn't expecting that to actually happen, but, you know. Anyways. Vesuva to copy either Garenbrig or Saga is quite interesting, actually. This is kind of the start that we want, at least in Game 1, against what is presumably Blue-Red Murktide. Yeah, probably want to more err on the side of Vesuvaing a green source than a Saga, just in case our opponent has a mainboard Blood Moon, which would not be unheard of, but they bolt the Grazer to get in. You love to see it. And the question is, are we activating Saga? Oh, wait, we can't activate Saga. We're not going to have an untapped source here. Oops, I guess we want to draw an untapped source or an Explorer or something to use our mana. Another Grazer would be pretty good, actually. See if they have land. Holding up Counterspell, of course. Interesting. So we draw the Titan. So now we're presented with the option of Vesuvaing Saga and dying to Blood Moon, or playing Garenbrig and trying to play it slow. I feel like once they get up to 3 mana, it's probably right to jam Dryad so they can't just draw 2 with the Archmage's Charm. If they just counterspell it, then so be it. What's the chance that we're getting Expedition Map off this Saga anyways? I don't know. I feel like we probably want to play Garenbrig here and try to play a little slower with the Vesuva. We can also just go to our upkeep this upcoming turn and make a token. I don't know, because we're going to get hit by Ragavan a couple times. That was going to be unavoidable regardless. Maybe just making a token here and forcing them to either kill it or not be able to connect with Ragavan is better than casting something into Counterspell and getting hit by Ragavan another time. Whew. They are one short of casting that Titan, thank goodness. Assuming they have the land, of course. Definitely have lost to my own Titan being cast against me, whether it's by Ragavan or by... what is it called? Douthly Voidwalker. Let's see. So if we make a token here, we can Vesuva copy Garenbrig and have Titan next turn. We can also float, play Dryad, play Vesuva copy Castle, and if they counter... Oh, what we can do is we can put the Gruul Turf in play and then pick up Boseiju. And then if they counter Dryad, we'll still have Titan this upcoming turn. It's probably a good idea. I think it's better than making a token. Or we could just get Cavern. Just play Dryad, play Gruul Turf, and like Vesuva. I don't know, I think Cavern's a little slow here, actually. We have 2 threats to start jamming, assuming they don't counter our Dryad, so I think Amulet's probably fine here. Could be wrong. I think I do want to play out the Gruul Turf as well. Because we can always Vesuva that. Float with the Boseiju and pick it up. This way, if our Dryad gets countered, we could potentially just Boseiju a Blood Moon. And we still have Vesuva on Gruul Turf to be able to cast Titan next turn, so... They do Archmage Disarm counter. That was kind of the intention. Okay, and now we're holding up Boseiju, so... I mean, they gotta run out of counterspells eventually. They've only cast 1, though, so they could still have actual, factual counterspell. Let's also use one of their treasure tokens, which is minuscule but important. See if they cycle their Islet here. Of course, after they attack. Probably gonna hit a land. Half of our deck is lands. Yep, Forest. I called that one. Definitely called that one. Opponent was going to tap for something, but they were in damage phase. Ledger Shredder? Okay. I mean, we're going to force them to have the counterspell here, so... Vestige is a great draw as well. It means that we can jam Titan again next turn via Summoner's Pact, so that was actually fantastic. Of course, we have to float green here with the Vestige. Alright, let's see the counterspell, opponent. If this resolves, we're going to bog them and get, I guess, Talari West. I don't think I'm playing around Blood Moon in game 1. As much as I've been talking about it, I don't think it's really that likely, so consider. So they have to find exactly counterspell in the top 2 cards. Or double bolt, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. This is just feeling great already. Forcing them to have it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Do we just get Saga here, perhaps? I mean, now that we've resolved Titan, I feel like the only way we lose is by getting Blood Moon, so I'm just going to grab a Forest, to be honest. And we will definitely bog them. That's for sure. Definitely not going to Summoner's Pact now. Our opponent's got problems that they got to deal with to keep the pressure. If they attack with Ragavan, I might just take it, to be honest. Because they could have, like, double Unholy Heat to kill Titan if they were to attack with Ragavan here. It might be wrong to just take the damage from Ragavan, but I think if they had attacked, I probably would not have blocked. Nothing? Okay. I like nothing. Slayers. Let's just go to combat. Oh, we got to attack? No way. No way. And now they draw a card. Okay. Well, what are we even getting here? I kind of expected them to do something. I didn't expect that to just, like, happen. I like the idea of a Valakut, so we can, like, start triggering Dryad. Maybe Cavern to force through our next Giant, since they're not killing this one. Like, well, I don't know. They probably have a counterspell for the Summoner's Pact, though. I guess if they're countering this, though, that means they're not dealing with Titan. Honestly, though, I'm just going to get Double Saga, I think. Double Saga to put some threats into play that they can't really deal with. And I think I am going to go ahead and Summoner's Pact for another Titan and just cast it. Force them to use their mana here instead of, like, cantripping to find action. We could Colossus. Ooh, I kind of like the idea of that. But I guess if we get Titan, we can search for basic... Oh, wait, we can Vesuva basic Forest if our Colossus resolves. I guess if they counter it and then untap and Blood Moon, then Colossus is worse. Although, we're going to lose to that... Oh, no, we can just play land for turn. We'll get Colossus. Oh, wait. Not an attack phase. Ha! I did the same thing that they did earlier. Well, maybe should have waited until post-combat to pack for Colossus, but, you know. I guess they could have Dress Down. I think they would have already cast it by now, though, to stop us from getting the trigger. Oh, and now they concede. Cool. Pretty straightforward game one. All right, we want the Boseijus against potential Blood Moons. We want the Dismembers against potential Mages of the Moons. We want Tracker for sure, and Endurance. Tracker as an additional threat. Endurance because it messes with their Delirium and might stop them from being able to cast a Murktide, or at least chump block one, which is relevant. And extra Cavern Souls for sure. What we don't want are extra Summoner's Pacts. I like cutting one pact here just because it's easy to counter. It's better to have an actual threat. We can trim on Explorers a bit, because they are weak to Spell Pierce. That's the main reason. Explorer's not that bad. I don't like Azusa because it's not really that threatening. And I think we can trim on Sagas for sure, since they're going to have Blood Moons or Alpine Moons at the very least. So Saga's kind of a liability here. On the other hand, map is not too bad. It does find Cavern, but we'll trim Garen Ray. I think we just cut the map at this point as well. Yeah, I'm good with this. On the draw, see a Dismember and just the Bog just chilling out. I mean, this hand needs lands desperately. It has the threats. We have an answer to Magus. Probably couldn't afford to Dismember turn 1 Monkey with this hand, unfortunately. Actually, we might have to, considering we're not doing anything until turn 3. This hand is definitely questionable. I don't love it. But I mean, the Bog interacts so nicely with their potential Murktides and stuff. I think I'm keeping it. It's definitely close, though. A bounce land puts us only 1 land away from Titan mana. No turn 1 Monkey is fantastic for us. Explorer. We'll lead on Talari West for sure. I wonder what the proper way to play around Blood Moon with this hand is. Like, are we supposed to play Boseiju on 2 and Explorer? Or are we supposed to hold the Boseiju in case they Blood Moon and we need to draw a basic Forest? Or we could just hope that their moon effect is Magus and not Blood Moon and just ignore Blood Moon entirely and just explore into Bog. Which I don't hate. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and YOLO the Explore here. If they want to counter this, they totally can. They could have Spell Pierce. That might be why they didn't play anything on turn 1. Counterspell, sure. Here comes Magus, which will untap, play land, dismember. Actually, we'll probably dismember and then Bog them. Unless they just cast Murktide this turn. That would be pretty good. Looks like they have a moon effect, though. It is actual Blood Moon instead of Magus. Rest in peace, us. Yeah. Let's get this green source in play. Man, why is it they always have the effect that we're not prepared for? We literally have this Dismember just chilling here. We had the Boseiju too, but we just didn't have the green source, sadly. I don't know, maybe it was a mulligan. Turn 3 Moon was quite good against this hand. And we can't even Bog them to slow down a Murktide. Rough. And we could still draw Basic Forest and play Dryad and kind of unlock this hand, so... Right, Basic Forest right now. Basic Forest. That is not a Basic Forest deck. I mean, we're hitting on our land drops. Probably could pretty confidently concede here, to be honest, but... I mean, it looks like our opponent's just spinning their wheels with no threats. Forest. Not quite. Honestly, there are outs we could draw, but I just don't want to play this game and I don't want to waste y'all's time, so we'll just go to game 3. It's not a big deal. Okay, so they do have actual moons, so maybe we're interested in forces a little bit more. At least one, I think. I think maybe 2 forces is overkill. We can trim on Summoner's Pact and maybe just call it a day. Oh, you know what? We should be cutting Colossus in this matchup, I think. Right as I say it. Here it is. I mean, we're going to keep this, though. We get to play turn 1 Castle, turn 2 Gruul Turf, and then possibly just hold up Endurance and Boseiju on the following turn. Opponent mulligans to 5. Yeah, we'll lead off on the Garenbrig here, get our green source and tap land out of the way. See if they have the 1-drop this time. Nope. Or they're just refusing to play it. That's also a possibility. Well, I guess we just get a tap land out of the way. It's really bad if they do Blood Moon us, but since we're on the play, I think we don't really have a better option, so... And we can play Cavern on Elemental or Incarnation, so that we can hold up both Endurance and Boseiju activation. Our opponent doing nothing on turn 1, I'm very happy with. No bobbles, no consider, no nothing. Well, speaking of, there's the bobble. This Endurance should be quite good here. Getting the early Endurance, you know, to try to choke their graveyard a bit. And also be able to surprise block something. I mean, it's probably not going to be a surprise to anyone at this point when I play Cavern naming Elemental, but, you know, or we'll name Elemental, though, because I think it's the least obvious, but, I mean, everyone knows what that means. Honestly, I wish we just had a regular basic forest, because then we could, like, you know, cast Endurance in response to Blood Moon, let it resolve, untap, play Bounce Land, and then Boseiju the Blood Moon. Don't play Magus. You just don't want to play Magus at all. You especially don't want to play Magus. And I am just going to go ahead and YOLO this Endurance out. There's not really a better time for it, so... Get rid of their 2 cards. Another threat would be good. Valcut is not another threat. So... we could Vesuva Cavern and then name Beast, which I guess is where we want to be. And then if we draw a Titan, we can always play Gruul Turf and pick up Cavern, and then have Cavern on Giant, I mean, for this upcoming turn. Attacking is probably wrong here now I think about it, because of the possibility of a Dash Dragavan, but, I mean, whatever. Definitely don't want to yield here. They don't attack. Are they going to block plus bolt? Why would they not attack here? Iteration. I guess if we want to play Colossus this upcoming turn, we have to play Castle. Grazer's a great draw. We can even cast it off of our Cavern. Heck yeah. And, honestly, let's just put in Valakut. And we'll play Castle. And we'll pass. If we draw exactly Titan, that's the only thing that punishes this, but... I think we're otherwise just slamming Cultivator this upcoming turn, so I'm definitely attacking. If they want to block and bolt, that's fine. Now that we have Grazer as a blocker, I'm not as worried about Ragavan. So, we'll see if our opponent has the dress down. Oh, and actually, we can Boseiju Blood Moon if they play it, so Magus kind of gets us, but... no way we're going to lose game 2 to having the Dismember, but they have the Blood Moon, and then lose game 3 to having the Boseiju, but they have the Magus. That would be quite something. Do not go cracking that Scalding Tarn, opponent. You know you do not want to do that. Yeah, this feels very much like a possible dress down, but we don't really have a choice but to play into it. So, I mean, we have the uncounterable, and we're drawing land too, so... I think we have to play a land here because of how our mana looks. Ugh. Maybe putting in the Valakut was the wrong choice. I'm drawing one less card here. Unfortunate. Hopefully it will not matter. Alright, Colossus, draw us a billion lands and a bunch of threats. Let's go. And we can also use Gruul Turf to bounce our Cavern. Like, the absolute best Colossus hits would be, like, a basic forest. Don't dress down. Oh my gosh, they have the freaking dress down. Ugh, that's frustrating. Remember what I was saying? We maybe should have sideboarded this one out. This is my least favorite interaction in all of Modern. Such a disappointment. Just swinging. Trying to get this game over with. I mean, at this point, any threat's a good top deck. We'll probably play it really slow and pick up the cavern and then use the cavern to play the threat if we do draw it. In fact, even if we don't draw a threat, probably playing Gruul Turf and picking up cavern will be the right choice here. Now we just get wrecked by everything, though. Blood Moon, Magus, removal spells. Of course, they're forced to attack here, so like we're out racing them, quote unquote, with the endurance. But I mean, a single Murktide turns the tide of that. So, I guess the thing I'm wondering is if it would have been right to just wait on the Colossus, because I even got the read beforehand that they were holding up Dress Down, but like, the problem is if we give them more time, they're more likely to hit more threats than just the DRC and get Delirium active and like be able to filter for a Dress Down. And they have a freaking Blood Moon too? You gotta be kidding me. Well, I mean, maybe our endurance will go the distance. That is the hope. They don't have the Murktide also, so there is some chance that in the next 3 turns we kill them with endurance. Oof, Dismember is good. We'll go to combat. And swing with the endurance, of course. I think we're supposed to save the Dismember so that we have something against a potential Murktide. If they play in Murktide, we attack, they block, we Dismember, and then we kill them over the next 2 turns. Really, really shoddy, but we might be able to pull it off, so. Not playing out the bounce land here because I think having bounce land in hand could be relevant if we're able to get Blood Moon off the table by drawing, like, green card plus Force, or Forest plus Boseiju. Those are all things that are technically possible. I mean, yeah, we're going to continue to just take this damage. There's no reason in throwing Grazer under the bus. I mean, we're going to put them to 2 with this endurance. Forest. Second Dismember, huh? Okay. They're going to kill the endurance now? Imagine they Unholy Heat and we could evoke a second endurance to stop their Unholy Heat from working. They're not killing endurance yet. It's a good thing I've been serving, huh? Is this Otawara? Subtlety. I mean, should we dismember that? I think we should, to be honest. And no reason to let them block, I guess. I mean, big props to Dismember for being a castable spell here. Consider. Okay. I guess they're looking for a removal spell? Yeah. Okay. So we're putting our opponent to 2. They can't not attack with the Channeler, so... crossing fingers, I guess? And if they do find a Murktide, we can dismember the Murktide after blocks and put them in the same situation a turn from now. But our life total is quickly dwindling. We're effectively at 6, assuming we have to cast the Dismember. If they go for like a post-combat DRC, we can dismember it though. But they have like a million islands up, so... I think maybe we're blocking now. Just so we don't lose to like double bolt when we dismember whatever they have to block. It's our only real hope. And if our dismember is not killing their blocker, then that means we'll survive at least one bolt. Oh, no Murktide, no DRC played. They have to just kill this, I guess. Are we just gonna win with the Endurance? Otawara. Okay. Well, we can force pitching Endurance, hit the Blood Moon. And then just hope to top deck a threat. I guess... Are we supposed to do it now? Because they can counterspell us. But if we do it now, we get to play Gruul Turf and pick up the Cavern, so that we can play Cavern on Giant if we draw a Titan, or play Cavern on Dryad if we draw a Dryad. I think we're probably supposed to do it now. Oh wait, we can't do it now. It has to be during their turn that we can pitch cast, so... I guess we are supposed to Dismember, though. We'll go to their upkeep and Dismember first, and see if they want to counter it, since they haven't had another threat. And they might counter this Dismember, and then we force the Blood Moon, and just... I guess we're not even going to force during their upkeep here. It's probably better to hold the force until they're in step. That way we could hit a second Blood Moon if they had it. This also incentivizes them to, like, tap out for something. This is our only chance, though, so we kind of have to just take it. Thinking very hard on this. Oh, they wanted to draw 2 cards, huh? Alright, Basic Force is good, too. Pajuka Bog does nothing. So we just pass. Yeah, unfortunately this game was not super particularly close. We almost got there with the Endurance, but I mean, still nothing from them means that there's a chance for us. Not if we keep drawing blanks, though. Although, to be honest, most of our deck is blanks at this point, so... I guess if we were playing Inferno Titan, then we'd be able to cast a threat here. And there's Murktide. Well, that's game. Yep. Well, you know, not a big deal. That is kind of what happens against Murktide. So anyways, that means that we are now 0-1, as the record below me indicates. And let's hop in here for match 2, because I think I might be able to finish a match 2 in time. 20 minutes might be enough time. Especially if we play against, like, Burn or something. Let's hop in here for the match. Playing against M. Trulin. And we got a weird hand here. No ramp, really. Turn 3 Dryad. If we draw a Garenbrig or another bounce land, this is a turn 4 Titan with Dryad. I don't know. I feel like we can do better. There we go. That is definitely better. I will say. We will keep this one. And bottom... We could bottom the Grazer, to be honest. I feel like it's probably just bounce land, though. Bottom Sanctuary. Carplussan Forest. Is this like Hardened Scales? Ancient Stirrings? Could this be green-red Tron? Nah, it's definitely Hardened Scales with a Zabaz. Yeah, against Hardened Scales, we're definitely leading on Saga. Are we even supposed to play the Amulet? Because they could be on a white splash and they could like prismatic ending our Amulet. It might be better not to be honest. I mean, we can still just cast Dryad next turn thanks to Grazer anyways. We play Amulet, then bounce land Grazer, bounce land Dryad, and still have a turn 3 Titan. So I think it's safer to just wait. If they play a white land here, or a land that produces white in any capacity, then we'll be thankful. Inkmoth. Well, we have a Grazer that can block that one if it were to be a problem. Another Dryad, huh? Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put a Dryad into play here. Not really gaining anything from not putting the Grazer into play, other than a little extra mana for Titan purposes, but I think we're going to have plenty of mana. I almost clicked the wrong land. That would have been bad. Cool. Now we've guaranteedly gotten our Amulet value, and we'll be able to cast Titan next turn regardless, even if they were to prismatic ending our Amulet here, so not too bothered. They currently are... Well, they're not quite dead on board. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, they are dead on board, because we can always just, like, you know, double Titan them, so... They're dead. Cool. We'll float a white here. Get an Amulet, of course. We'll play a Simic. Hit 5, just to make sure we're not going to be yielding to our own Amulet. But yeah, we can double Titan them here pretty easily, so... Question is, can we trigger Dryad? And I think we could probably manage to do that, if I'm being honest. Let's see, we go down to... So 11 down to 8 to play Dryad, up to 11. Yeah, so we should be able to just pick up the Garen Brig and be good here. We'll float a white. And float a green with this. We'll pact. Get Titan. Titan will get T-West and a bounce land. And then we'll play second Titan, get Valakut and Slayers, haste both Titans, and attack and kill our opponent. That was really lucky that I untapped the T-West first there, just kind of by accident. I don't think it would have mattered that much, but... exactly enough to haste off of Valakut Slayers here. Very nice. Opponent has refused to concede just yet. They are dead on board, but, you know, they want to make me do it, and I respect it. Say yes to this and get Valakut and Vesuva. And I will let you know I have auto-yielded through the whole turn at this point. All these Amulet untaps are going to happen without me floating mana, and that is A-okay with me. Engineered Explosives, Boseiju, come here. They will be quite nice. Dismember is arguably not that great, but I'm going to try it. And Force of Vigor. Whew. Oh my. All right, don't need a Cultivator here. We can trim on Sagas, since they do just get blown out by opponents' forces and nature's claims. I don't know, though. Do we care about getting forced that bad? Force is like the main way that we lose here. I feel like Saga plays around what is it called? Prismatic ending in a way that Amulet doesn't. So I actually don't think that Saga's awful here, but maybe we're supposed to be cutting it anyways. Explorer is awfully slow. Cavern's obviously not great here, so we'll just cut that. We can cut it entirely since we're bringing in Boseijus as well. I don't love Azusa here. Getting a Titan into play earlier is nice, though. And it's also a green card to pitch to Force. So, like, Azusa's not awful. Bog is awful. We could trim, like, a Saga just to play around Force. But, again, I'm not really big on that plan. I think it's just Azusa, to be honest. We'll just make sure we're not playing multiple copies of Amulet out into Force and, you know, just be good. Like, for example, this hand, we could go turn 1 Saga Amulet, but instead we'll go turn 1 Saga Pass. I mean, honestly, maybe... Nah, we're definitely supposed to play Saga on 1 for sure, so... Welding Jar. We'll play Saga. And Pass. They have Scales. Nature's Claim. Okay. Okay, we'll just draw a second Amulet like that. Cool. So now if we draw any ramp spell, then we can just... Well, we can't really kill them because we have Sunhome in play. We might be able to kill them if we only hasted once, and if they were at lower than... If they were at 16 or less. Oh, we also have T-West in hand as well. We'd probably be able to get Double Titan into play, and then haste both of them, attack, get Vesuva copy, Sunhome. So I feel like if we draw any ramp spell, we just win next turn. Okay, well, that's obviously not true when we're getting Boseijud, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. How many destroy target artifact or enchantment pieces of hate can we get through? I'll answer that for you. All of them. Speaking of, are we playing Amulet and Map out into this possible Force? I mean, if that's their last 2 cards, I don't think I care too much. Gonna play Amulet, Sanctuary, pick up the Forest, Map off of the Sunhome, and hold up both Boseiju and Crack of Map. This plays around Force a little bit, since we get to hold up the activation, and it lets us Boseiju our opponent if we want to. Although they do have Welding Jar, so it's not like it's going to do much, but... I guess we can always hit the Scales, since Welding Jar can't save it. Hanger back. Do we just hit the Scales? I feel like that's not unreasonable. Just hit the Scales, untap, and, you know, just play basic Forest or something, or play T-West. Hold up Map for another Boseiju, I guess, if we wanted to. Ozolith. Sure. Probably can just afford to Map for Boseiju and kill the Ozolith also, and then have Titan the turn after, so... Or, you know, just hard cast Force, just like that. You know, not a problem. Yeah, we're just going to do that now. And we're just not going to mess around. Oh, hold on. Cancel. I was going to say we're not going to mess around, we're just going to target Jar, but I don't think that's a good idea. We'll hit the Ozolith, and... I guess... Zabaz can get flying, but the Hangerback Walker makes Thopters if they put more counters on it. Yeah, we have to hit the Ozolith and the Walker, because we can't let them keep both of those. But I was going to say, I was going to hit the Welding Jar on the Ozolith, but then I realized they could just save the Ozolith, which they are doing. And then we'd get no value. We'd just be killing 1 Welding Jar, so... Obviously, that doesn't make sense. Also, it's now occurring to me that we have engineered explosives in the deck as well, so we can always transmute for that. Another hanging-back walker, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'm not really worried about this. I think that we are currently in a very good position. Gonna play Sanctuary immediately. Oh, well, now that they're not even holding it... Well, never mind. We'll play Garden Brig instead. Yep. And now we just tighten them. Probably killing the Ozolith, I guess. After we attack, of course. Well, if there's any matchup that we want to play when I only have 20 minutes to play, this is probably the matchup to play. Definitely going into the combat phase here. We already have T-West backup, so we don't need to search for a T-West and like try to set it up. Getting a blue source might be a good idea, but we'll pick up, I guess, just Slayers. Swing. Yes. We'll get... I mean, do we even need to kill the Ozolith? I feel like it's probably a good idea. Look at Boseiju. And... I don't know, do we care about that? Maybe we just get Simic Tolaria West, pick up any other land, and then go straight to second main and transmute. Like, how do they actually kill us here with 2 cards? Like, Arcbound Ravager and, like, another Ozolith? Nah, it's probably right to just hold up the Boseiju here. Because we can always just next turn play T-West. Or no, we can even just map for a blue source, like another Growth Chamber, and be able to immediately transmute and play Titan this upcoming turn, so... I meant to hold up the freaking Boseiju. Why did I pick up the Sunhome? Oh well. I'm over here talking. Well, that was a rest in peace. I guess we're just passing. Oh, that was so dumb. Luckily, it probably won't matter, but... Yeah, that was really dumb. Another hanger back. Okay. We'll take one. That's fine. EE on 0 kills both hangerback walkers. And then they get to pour it all onto Zabaz and attack, but I don't know how much it matters. I think we are definitely cracking map here. For... Yes, Growth Chamber? And let's not lose the game. Seems like a good idea to me. It's okay to tap our Garrison here, because when we attack, we're probably gonna get Valakut. Or we could just draw another Titan. What does that do? Play Sanctuary. Oh wait, no, we have to play Strongholds. Yeah, so we can't haste here. We can play Simic, Transmute for Dryad, play Dryad, force them to have Nature's Claim, and then attack and hold up Boseiju after the attacks, or just kill them. Actually, that probably just kills them, so let's go for the Dryad line that probably just kills them. You know, probably could have sequenced this a little better, but... we're gonna lose this mana anyways, so it's not like it really matters. Just get the Dryad, play the Dryad, go to combat attack. Opponent's dead. Yep, let's just get double Valakut and send everything upstairs. Force them to kill this Dryad. And then if they are able to kill it, then we'll be able to play land and hold up Boseiju, so... go always yes, always yield. And we win. Whew, okay. Well, that was not my most perfectly navigated game or match, but despite that fact, we are now 1-1. So starting to make a little bit of a comeback. And I gotta go. I'll see you guys when I start recording next, which is in 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Let's hop in here for match 3. It's currently later in the day. And just figured I'd bang out another match here. Maybe we can get 2 matches this time. I'm really struggling for time, but we'll be on the play, of course. We got to turn 1 Amulet and to explore into Titan possibly on turn 3 here. Explore for the redraw, Dryad for the ramp. With Garenbrig, that might be Titan mana. We play turn 1 Saga, Amulet, turn 2 Castle, Explore. And this is definitely a keep. The sequencing is interesting. I think definitely going Saga, Amulet makes a lot of sense here. Also, I do want to apologize in advance if there's a little less good quality play from me in this particular league. It's been a while since I was able to play, and I've had to deal with a lot of stuff between school and laptops going down recently, so, you know, forgive me if I'm not making all the most optimal plays, but, you know, I am going to make the optimal play of playing Dryad here, though, so that we can block our opponent's Ragavan. That seems like a pretty good choice. Gonna leave the Saga in play, though, I think. I mean, we don't have to. If we miss on Titan off of our draw and then redraw from Explore, then popping off a Saga is kind of bad. I kind of actually like the idea of bouncing Saga here. Might be wrong, but... And are we supposed to bounce land Explore here? I guess if we were to draw Titan, that's just exposing the Titan to a discard spell, so I'd rather just get Saga into play, and then we can just Explore next turn. And if they discard it and we top deck Titan, then we can just, you know, kill them, so that's good. Opponent has the Bloodstained Mire and Fury pitching Renin 6. So this is just the El Jundo. Some Junda action happening. Well, opponent really wanted to connect with this Ragavan, so let's see what they're doing with the mana. They exiled an Amulet. Sure. They have the 3 mana Planeswalker, Liliana of the Veil. I mean, yeah, that's not great for us. At least we can make some tokens with Saga to buy some time. Definitely pitching Cavern Souls here as the least valuable land by far. Another Explorer, huh? Well, let's lead on Explore, I guess. Bog is not bad, so we can go Garenbrig, Bog, Explore, play Growth Chamber, pick up a land, and then activate Saga still. I like that. I guess this line is going to leave us with only whatever land we pick up in hand. I don't know if that's a problem. I feel like it's probably not. Unless they discard spell and then uptick Lily, but we're going to lose all of our spells in that scenario anyways. Definitely play out the Growth Chamber here for transmuting T-West purposes. And just pick up the Castle, I think. Most expendable land. We might want to copy Bog for Unholy Heat, so... Now if our opponent fires off discard spell, it will be blank, so that's nice. Yep, we'll just let this go. Hey, look, our opponent discarded a card, and we got to discard a dead land. Good trade for me, I think. Yep, Renin 6. Whew. Glad that one's not in play. It must... That's the second Renin 6. I'm kind of curious if they have the third Renin 6 here. Oh, I meant to make a token and block. Oops. Well, I guess we're not doing it now. That was definitely a mistake, but, you know. They hit Saga, so... I mean, they got a mana, but we're not terribly punished for this. Alright, Titan off the top would be great. We'll make our token here. That's not Titan, but we have 6, 7, 8, 9 with Grazer, which is not enough to transmute because we have to crack map. So I guess we're just making a token, searching for map, and using Grazer to transmute T-West, I guess? Maybe not. Maybe we were not supposed to make a token here? Or maybe we just hold up map until they're instap or something? Because we can't transmute T-West if we were to find it now. I guess we could map for T-West, play it, discard Grazer to Liliana, and then use Bounce Land. We'd have... We're definitely getting map here for sure, so we'll just go ahead and do that. That would give us see, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8 mana, so we'd be 1 short. I guess any ramp spell off the top, or Titan, unless that's win in that case. Amulet does as well. Dryad does not. Just like Azusa, Grazer, Summoner's Pact. Those all do it. If we get discard then upticked with the Lily, then we don't have any Titan access. Weird. We can play Bounce Land Grazer mapped for T-West, transmute next turn, and just cast Titan the turn after or something. That lets us attack the Lily. They could always chump, but, like, that's fine. Huh. Definitely a weird spot. Think deploying our cards here and playing the slower game and just trying to keep this Lily in check just a little bit. Gonna be our route, I think. We'll do this. We'll bog ourselves. Shrink that Goifo down to a 1/2. This way, if they want to block, they're losing a Goif for the exchange. And we definitely don't want to map now. So we'll just let it go. We'll attack Liliana. This puts our opponent in a pretty awkward position. We can still top deck Titan. Oh, they just let the Liliana take it too, huh? Okay. Now if they want to plus Liliana, they are just making themselves discard a card. Sure. Just discard a card for free. Thoughtseize. Well, I guess to be fair, that one wasn't going to be a great card for them to have anyways. All right, now the question is, yeah, we're definitely mapping for T-West here. If we draw anything that's not a relevant spell, then we'll just keep it in hand after we transmute and just hope they don't have a discard spell. Razor. Yeah, that one's not doing it. So we'll just transmute. Get our Summoner's Pact, of course. 4 or 5 Goifs, yet again. Those things do grow fast, do they not? We'll just pass, holding the Grazer to pitch to Liliana. All right, opponent, just don't draw a discard spell. And then we're probably pretty good to go. They know not to attack with the Goifs here. Drew land, which is fine. Discard Grazer. I wonder what the best we can manage to do this upcoming turn is. They swing with a Goif. They swing with both Goifs. They're just dead. I'm confused. We'll just take our blocks. Honestly, I'm just going to take the 5 here. I don't think that this matters. They're literally dead, right? We just, like, get Boros Garrison, Slayers, haste, play Garrison, attack. I think they're just dead. Okay. Well, here's a Titan. Leave a white floating, I guess. No, we want to get the Garrison here anyways, so we'll just leave a mana untapped. We'll play Garrison out and get Sunhome and a Bounce Land on attacks, and our opponent's... Yeah, I don't know. This was not a great play by them, to be completely fair. I mean, we could still get, like... We can actually afford to pick up Bog here, but... No, we can't. Yeah, we have to pick up the Garrison, or the Selesnya. Just pick up the Garrison. And now we can pick up Bog. Sunhome and Bounce Land is fine, so yeah, we'll pick up Bog. Yeah, opponent did not think that attack through, I would say. We'll get Sunhome and Simic Growth Chamber. Double strike the Trampler, and they're DED. Just pick up the Slayers. Well, I didn't expect that to end that way. I mean, we probably still could have done something similar here by getting Vesuva copying Bog. But anyways. So playing against Jundo with Fury. Don't know if that changes anything. I like explosives for Goifs, Bobs, and Rins primarily. Tracker's obviously great. Endurance is pretty good to surprise Goyfs and put something in play that Liliana would be forced to downtick on before they downtick on our Titan. Cavern is Garbaggio. Gone. Maybe want to bring in one Boseiju just so we're not going too light on lands. 31 is probably a good number. I don't want to trim Pack. Definitely want to trim Colossus. We're going to be low on resources. Azusa is great against them. Explorer is great against them. Honestly, Amulet's not that great against them, but I don't think it's so bad that we would cut it. We can trim a Saga in case of Alpine Moon. Actually, they could be playing Magus or Blood Moon as well, because sometimes John does that. So we'll just trim 2 Sagas. And, I mean, Garenbree's good. Maybe we only bring in 2 Endurance. I don't hate that. Give this a shot. If they show us Magus, then we'll bring in Dismembers. It's annoying that they're playing Ragavans now, because we used to sideward out Grazer in this matchup, but because of Ragavan, we can't really afford to. Definitely going to keep this, by the way. Turn on Grazer to block Ragavan, and Endurance to, you know, stem the bleeding. Inquisition. I don't even know what they take here, to be honest. Grazer. Okay. Another Endurance. Just, you know, just going to draw both of those. Don't you mind me. Thoughtseize. Take Summoner's Pact? I guess? Not really sure where this is going for opponent. Surprisingly, in this matchup, the discard spells are not that great, at least if you plan on just, like, relying on top-decking threats. I don't think we play Growth Chamber here, as that plays into Fulminator Mage, so we'll just play Basic Forest. Next turn, we can play Boseiju or Misty and just cast Endurance, I guess. No land. Well, opponent is roughing it. We could just, like, pack for Azusa, like, play Fetch, Azusa, go T-West Bounce Land, and then pick up a land. We'd have double basic and play against Magus. I feel like packing here is really not that bad. But then we might not top deck a threat, although we have Growth Chamber and T-West, so any bounce land lets us transmute, or a second blue source like Crumbling Vestige. This would be a situation where having access to Breeding Pool would actually be fantastic here. Or we could just cast Endurance. Kind of want to pack, but maybe it's a waste. I think it's probably a waste. Still going to play out the fetch here, but I think we're just going to chill on this pact. Well, next turn we could potentially pact for Tracker. They finally hit their 3rd land. If they cast a Liliana here, we'll just, like, discard Boseiju, flash it Endurance, and clock Liliana. Pick up a land to Growth Chamber, discard the land that we pick up, I guess. We're back. I don't know what that was, but... There's Liliana. Okay. I gotta pitch Boseiju here. Blue source, bounce land plus T-West. I mean, that's too good to pass up. And obviously, we want our pact. Although, honestly, pitching pact is not that bad because it plays around them having a discard spell of some sort. Definitely putting Endurance into play here. They also put in a Seasoned Pyromancer into their graveyard. So, yeah. I mean, this is an easy Endurance if I've ever seen one. Explorer. So this could be a pack for Tracker, play T-West kind of situation. Honestly, I really don't hate that. If they go like Bolt Tracker minus Lily, and then we have to pay for Pact, we still are only like a turn or 2 away from Titan. Alternatively, we could just Explore. If we Explore into an Amulet, we can then play Growth Chamber twice and transmute T-West and be 1 short of Titan, unless we top deck a ramp spell. Assuming that we're not just going to double Summoner's Pact. I don't know. I think it's probably right to pack for Tracker, actually. That does lose to Fulminator Mage. Let's start by attacking their Liliana for sure, because that's got to happen. I kind of am feeling the pack for Tracker. It's risky against land destruction, but that's the only thing. And I'm definitely not playing around it this time. We'll get Tireless Tracker. put her into play. Now, do we play the Growth Chamber? I think we play the T-West. Play T-West, keep Growth Chamber in hand, because then Growth Chamber would make us lose to Alpine Moon, whereas playing T-West makes us only lose to exactly Fulminator Mage, or like Molten Rain or something. Uptick on Lily is expected. Here goes the thing that can be discarded by discard spells. Ancient Grudge. Oh yes, nice Ancient Grudge, opponent. You wanna stop us from drawing a card? Are we upticking Lily again? Definitely keeping Tracker. I don't know what you're talking about. The Tracker is gonna get there, ladies and gentlemen. The Tracker is getting there. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just attack them, but I feel like that's bad, so get the Liliana out of play. Say yes to this. EE. I mean, we'll probably just discard that, but let's get our free Tracker token here. Definitely picking up basic Forest, I think. Pitch EE, play Forest, play Titan if we top deck it, or just like crack some clues, you know? Go to combat, attack Liliana, get that out of play. See if they have third Liliana and down take on Tracker. Definitely packing for Tracker got absolutely rewarded. It dealt with 2 Lilianas and is going to draw us 2 cards. Maybe 1 if they flash back a Grudge, but like, I mean, if they're flashing back Grudge, I'm pretty happy with that, so Dash Ragavan. That is not going to do it, opponent. Dash Ragavan is not even close to enough. Dryad off the top. I mean, honestly, we didn't particularly want to draw that, so like, I guess we could play land, crack Clue, and still have Dryad, but this gets to enable Fatal Push. I see. All right, let's start by cluing, I guess. Oh, we could have just transmuted. Why? I drew the bounce land. We could have transmuted for T-West, or transmuted our T-West for Summoner's Pact, but I don't know. Maybe this is even better. We'll play Saga. Play EE on 1 to deal with our opponent's Ragavan, I guess. I think 1's probably fine. And we'll pass. And if they dash Ragavan into EE, we'll probably just pop it. If they don't, then we get to crack Clue on end of turn. So maybe this line's fine. They do play the Ragavan. They don't dash it. Okay. And Season Pyro. Okay. Draw 2 cards. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Pretty good. Definitely cluing here over the EE, so. Threat. Any threat. Oh, they get to grudge the EE. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, they let us untap with the EE, huh? We found the pact. Okay. Huh. We could play Bounce Land, transmute for Valakut, play Dryad Valakut. And then if they kill the Dryad, I don't know. We could pact for, let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could play Forest. Oh, we don't have Colossus. Colossus would have been actually pretty decent here. If we pact for Titan, we can get Vesuva Crumbling Vestige or something like that. A Bounce Land Crumbling and then be able to activate, but that doesn't really make sense to me. I think transmuting for Valakut's a little too much. I think maybe, do we even just let the explosives go? I feel like we just let the explosives go. To be honest, getting Titan into play right now is just too valuable. Maybe we play land. Oh, wait, hold on. We're not going to be able to activate Saga also. So I guess we're just tapping it then, unfortunately. Say yes to this. We'll get our Growth Chamber just to make sure that our T-West doesn't get Boseju'd. Maybe just another blue source. Maybe it's Growth Chamber T-West. Maybe that's too much. Bog them so that they can't have Unholy Heat, I guess. And maybe just another Saga, actually. Saga or T-West? I'm gonna go with T-West. If they want to kill the engineers... Oh, they didn't even kill the explosives, huh? Okay, well, we'll play Boros, since we can't lose to land destruction here anyways. We could just reset the Saga, honestly, but nah, we'll pick up the Bog and pass. Next turn, we pay the 4. We have 5, 6, 7. And Amulet, we can... But we don't have anything that we can really do with that. I guess we could get Expedition Map. Riveteer's Charm. Okay, so they were able to deal with Titan for 3 mana, and it got us 2 lands. I mean, I still feel pretty good about this, not gonna lie. There's definitely a way for us to lose here. This might be a float Saga get... I think this is a situation where we're going to do Dryad plus Valcut if we have the mana. I don't know that we have the mana, though, to be honest. Oh, we definitely do. We'd only get exactly 1 Valcut trigger, though. Oh, and it would also be our only T-West transmute until we draw another bounce land. These, maybe we just make a token and chill here. Probably still get mapped, though, I think. I think we're going to make a token and chill. Maybe playing the Azusa here would be good. We could still play Forest Azusa, like, bounce land and be able to hold up explosives. Assuming we got Amulet. How bad do we need another bounce land? If our Tolaria West threat gets answered, then we do need it pretty bad, but... They bolt the token. They have 1 card left. I feel like it's going to be Amulet, and then we'll just plan on doing the Titan thing this upcoming turn. Play Azusa. Play Bounce Land. We'll pop... if we pop explosives... we'll just pick up Boros Garrison, I guess. They have already used 2 Lilianas. They could Kolaghan's Command us and make it discard card, and then we might be in some trouble if we play out a land here. I think I'm inclined to pass. I think there's enough reason not to do anything. If we have to explosives away our own Amulet to stop Ragavan from connecting, I think that's probably worth it. We'll see what they do here first. Yeah, they do bolt the Azusa, that's fine. 1 card left. Alternatively, we could just take the hit from Ragavan. If the last card is exactly untap land and they hit Titan, that's really bad, but we might even be able to beat that. We just take the hit. Kind of think we take the hit. Having our own Amulet in play, I think, is high enough upside. Lets us do things with our Titan immediately, so... We're not exposed to discard spell here since we're saving the bounce land Tolaria West thing for next turn. They hit Summer's Pact. I think we still have all 4 of those, and we've used 1, so not worried about that. They cast Summer's Pact. That's bold. Tarmogoyf. Sure. We do have Bojuka Bog in our hand. We'll untap. Explorer. We can lead on that, I guess. Dryad. Pretty good. Let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 to play Dryad, down to 8. Another 2 from the extra bounce land plays up to 10. Transmute down to 7. We have Dryad plus Titan here, actually. Definitely want to sequence this so we get maximum mana, though. So we're going to play out both of our Explore bounces before we do anything else. And then we'll play Dryad, and immediately after it resolves, play Bounce Land, so that even if they kill the Dryad, we'll have all of the mana that we need here. So pick up the Boros Garrison, because I think we're not going to have any trouble with our mana here. green-wise, that is. Definitely pick up T-West. We'll transmute. Get our last remaining Summoners Pact. Oof, it was dangerously close, actually. Get Titan. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leave a white floating. Get Valakut Slayers. And I think we should probably be pretty much good here. Valakut Slayers. Put both of these on the stack. Kill Goyf for good measure. Just in case. This way they might feel inclined that they have to... Oh wait, it's only one at this point. Might feel inclined that they have to kill the Dryad here. Oh yeah, nothing matters. I think we're just winning here pretty easily, so... Bang! And that is a masterclass on how to play the Jund matchup. So how about that? And that also makes us 2-1. And I'm just going to go ahead and play one more match here since I feel like I have the time. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. Playing against Burnt Taco 77. Freaking awesome name. Freaking terrible hand. The old Snap Mulligan. Bang. Get the turn 1 Saga Amulet hand. Yes. Goodbye, extra Summoners Pact. See what we're up against. No companion revealed. Maybe it's the Amulet Mirror. That would not be great here because we're missing a bounce land. Unless we draw the bounce land, in which case it would be great. It's blue-red Murktide again. Am I playing turn 1 Saga against blue-red Murktide? I think there's a strong likelihood we're just getting map here anyways. I kind of want to get my token value off of this. So I'm actually just going to play out Valakut. And I'm playing Valakut here because next turn we can play Amulet into Castle and be able to cast like a Grazer if we were to draw it and Grazer out a Saga. So I think that's kind of the idea. They do have Consider, so it's probably Murktide. Shredder, okay. Dryad. Well, we'll play Amulet now before it gets Spell Pierced, and I guess we'll just play Saga and pass. Probably not playing Dryad into Counterspell this upcoming turn, depending on how they use their mana. Just have 3 mana, huh? I mean, Boblin incentivizes them to play another spell here, so... Archmage is trying to steal an Amulet. Okay. I mean, that's a hard way to do it, but I respect it. Definitely going to bog them here, I think. Grazer. Bogging them stops Murktide, and I think that's extremely important here. Can we afford to wait a turn and play the Garenbrig out here? Let's see, if we play Garenbrig and draw bounce land, we float, get Amulet, have 1, 2, 3, 4, Grazer up to 5, Dryad down to 2, land up to... I think with our current hand, we could Titan with Dryad out if we were to draw exactly green bounce land off the top. If we play out Garenbrig here, but I don't really have faith that's going to happen. It also means that we won't be able to play Dryad next turn if we play Bog right now, though. Oh, no, we will, because we'll be able to float and get Amulet, but that might stop us from getting Expedition Map. We could just, like, not Bog and hope that they don't have Murktide. I don't know how much I like that, though. I'm just going to Bog them. I don't think that trying to play into drawing exactly bounce land and then jamming everything into Counterspell, I just don't think that it's the play. And this upcoming turn, it's not like we're wasting our mana because we can make a Saga token, so... Dash Ragavan, sure. I will admit, getting our Amulet stolen was not on my list of things to play around when I played turn 1 Valakut, you know? Just wasn't on the docket, I would say. If they are just trying to steal this Expedition Map, I'm gonna be a little salty, okay? I'm just saying. That would not be cool. Weird game to try to navigate here. Haven't drawn any lands as well. It's definitely hurt. At least our construct is holding the fort against Ragavan. It's going to be a tough game to win. I can already sense it. We're probably already losing by quite a bit. So heat the token. Okay. Well, at least we got a card out of our Urza Saga in addition to the map. Are we just going to map for Saga and play it? And play Grazer? Oh, they did dash Ragavan. I thought for a second they did not dash. Like, that would be kind of weird, actually. Hit Talaria West. We would rather draw Bounce Land, so it's okay that they hit Talaria West here. Bounce Land. Misty. I mean, I'll take it. See, we play Dryad, or we could map for Saga, play it, play Grazer, put in Misty. I think playing Saga here is good, since they're going to counter our Dryad, most likely. We could also map for Cavern, play Dryad, Cavern on Giant and Misty, and hope to top deck a bounce land or an untapped land. I think that's probably better. Let's see, we play Dryad, Misty. Oh, we can't also map. Interesting. We could map for Cavern, play it on Giant, play Grazer into Misty. No, we put in the Cavern with the Grazer, and we get to play both Grazers out, so they can't just, like, stop us from having blockers. I think that's probably the right play. Lots of options, but hopefully we've navigated this correctly. Now, any untap lane off the top lets us Titan. They counterspell Grazer. You got it. Here's number 2. They get to loot with Shredder, I guess. Definitely naming a Giant here. I mean, naming Dryad is not unreasonable, but we already used our fetch, so unfortunately Titan can't resolve and get, like, Valakut fetch. Or, like, fetch bounce land to pick up the Cavern. We should be thinking about Dress Down here as well. Just a little bit. Dress Down doesn't stop Dryad trigger, so if we draw a land, it might be right. I mean, our Cavern's naming Giant, so we're probably just supposed to jam Titan, but I mean, maybe that's fine, considering we have backup in the Summoner's Pact, but I don't know, I feel weird about it. Drawing with Islet. They're digging deep here. I guess looking for a... Definitely not blocking. Looking for a Murktide, perhaps? Also, Murktide is the reason we're not blocking. If they were to play a Murktide, then our Grazer represents a very, very important chump blocker. Saga is an untap land. So yeah. I guess we didn't necessarily need untap land. We could... Oh, no, we did, because we didn't have the green sources. But, I mean, now we're just casting an uncounterable Giant, so... We could still lose to Bolt, technically, or, like, Unholy Heat plus Bolt, but... Got a Vesuva to bog them, and... I don't know, do we need to bog them? Does bogging them matter? Stops them from drawing Unholy Heat. They've already used one. Alternatively, we could get Bounce Land. We could get double Bounce Land and pick up Cavern plus Bounce Land. And next turn have Cavern on Dryad into play land, trigger Valakut. I mean, that's not even enough, though, really. Huh. We could get Valakut Bounce Land and force them to answer Titan as well as the Dryad. Because that would let us kill Ledger Shredder. I think it's supposed to be Valakut Bounce Land. Definitely a little touchy here, but we'll get there. This also means we're playing into Counterspell, but it might be okay when we can just attack with Titan, so... Definitely not attacking with Grazer. If they attack, we will take the block this time. They have the heat. Was right to be thinking about it. They have double heat? Okay. Dash Ragavan. Oh, and we're dead. Well played by our opponent, I suppose. We'll go to sideboard. Yeah, definitely stumbled a little bit too much that game. I feel like it was still well navigated regardless. Engineered Explosives is interesting against DRCs, Ragavans, and Shredder. I actually think Explosives could be good against them. I'm going to give it a shot this time. I usually don't. We want all of the answers to Blood Moon and Magus, of course. Tireless Tracker, Endurances are good. Bring those in. Not going to be getting to Garenbrig against them. And they're going to have Blood Moons, Mages of the Moon, etc. So trimming Saga makes perfect sense to me. Probably trimming Map as well. Maybe even an Amulet. I think Amulet's good, though. Trim a couple Explorers. We may not have the time to cast them. Maybe it's just all the Explorers, to be honest. Yeah, I think trimming all the Explorers. Explorers a little too much of a do-nothing in this matchup. Okay, on the play. Got Turnwind Grazer. We got double basic land to play around Blood Moon. We'd like to draw like double bounce land off the top. Any untapped land lets us play a turn 2 Tracker or turn 2 Dryad. Really not the worst, but I don't know. I feel like we can do better than this. I think I'm willing to take a mulligan here. Well, this hand's weird. We do have a basic to play slightly around Blood Moon. We could draw any of our Boseijus. Guess we're supposed to keep this. Bottom redundant bounce land, play Forest Go. Play Forest and pass. If our opponent plays turn 1 Ragavan, are we supposed to dismember and lose to Magus? That is always the question. I don't know. We could draw a Grazer and stone wall the Ragavan. If they play DRC, I'm not inclined to kill that. Well, the nightmare scenario has come true, and I think I am just going to dismember this, because I think we probably lose to Ragavan regardless, so I hate it, and when they have Magus, we're going to just die internally, but I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting to the Ragavan, maybe just taking a hit from it, and then hoping that the rest is taken care of by Tracker is better. Endurance. Alright, I mean, the fact that we drew a 3-drop that we can cast, because we don't want to cast Tracker without land drop value, I don't think. I think now we have to play Growth Chamber. I was going to play Vestige, so we could play Growth Chamber afterwards and not be as bad against Blood Moon, but now that we have something to do with our mana, probably better to play the Growth Chamber, I would think. Okay. Oh, they're fetching now. They thought better of it. Consider right now, huh? Looking for another Ragavan, perhaps? I guess they found it. Will Endurance them right now. That seems pretty good. Second Endurance, not really bad here, to be honest. Definitely doing this now to play around Counterspell, for sure. And also Murktide. And people say this card is not good against them. What are people smoking? Nah, no attacks. We love to see it. Do we force them to have the counterspell for Tracker, or do we just hold up Endurance? I feel like we're holding up Endurance here, so we'll make a black. Menacing, I know. Don't think I'm attacking. In case our opponent has like double bolt or can establish Delirium quickly and wants to heat our Endurance and connect with Ragavan, they draw 2. Are we supposed to? Oh, maybe we were supposed to Endurance that. I don't have a stop set during my turn, but you know, we'll fix that. No attacks. All right, now we're gonna flash an Endurance, and if they counter this, then we get to untap and Tracker them. So unless they have exactly double counterspell, or they just let it go, huh? I mean, we'll target them, I guess, and start attacking with our bad boys. Cavern, okay. Go to combat. Kind of want to attack with both, to be honest. That could go wrong. Not terribly. You know, I'm just going to serve all out. I feel like being aggressive here, trying to close the game fast. See what they got here. Subtlety? Are they going to double block here? Okay. I mean, we just get to resolve tracker now. Like, that seems pretty good. Do we kill the flyer or do we kill the Ragavan? I think we kill the flyer and then threaten to block Ragavan with tracker. Play tracker. Play cavern. We'll name giant here. I know this is stopping us from playing a Titan next turn, but it's letting us crack clue immediately and play around heat, so wouldn't have drawn it, so it's all good. I guess we could still technically draw it. No, we wouldn't have had the extra draw, so yeah. We would not have drawn Titan because it would have been a forest instead, so not punished. If they attack, I will block. Actually, am I blocking? I mean, we still lose to Unholy Heat, or we lose the tracker to Unholy Heat, which I don't think there's a real reason to do, so we'll just take it, actually. I know I said I would block, but I'm a coward. What can I say? Sunhome. It's whatever. Now they have to have Unholy Heat with Delirium or a Bolt to kill tracker. And if they don't kill tracker, then they will lose to it, so the question is, are we supposed to pick up Cavern with our bounce land that we're about to play next turn? I mean, the only other thing we'd want Cavern on is Dryad, and we don't have Valakut to go along with Dryad at the moment, so like I feel like it's not necessary to reset the... I mean, we're still going to be able to get to Titan eventually. Not going to show them the forest, because then they know that we have Titan mana. Definitely not where we want to be. I think I'm serving with both creatures here, though. Boseiju would be amazing. Okay, deck. I see what you're doing. Definitely swinging out. Just winning this game off of Tireless Tracker pretty much by itself. This is why this card is played in the sideboard. It also won us a game against John too. Doing a good job over here. Shredder, okay. It's Chump Blocker. Heat the Tracker. Looting to discard an instant, presumably. Imagine if we had a Flash Endurance here. Well, I mean, that's good, but we're about to just Boseiju Blood Moon and then Titan them, so our opponent has no clue what's about to happen to them. Here comes a Bojuka Bog to stop Unholy Heat and Murktide, and I think it's just going to be game. Gotta make sure we don't accidentally yield through our opponent's turn here. I guess they could have... It's still not technically over. They could have access to Dress Down here as their very last card. Okay. Right. I mean, holding up specific colors of mana doesn't really matter much here, but I'll do it anyways. So what are we doing here? Definitely have to get Bog, I think. I mean, if they have a Heat, they can cast it now. I don't know. I feel like Bog is a requirement, though. Bog T-West, I guess. That way, if they do answer our Titan with their last card here, then we're not just out. We'll play out our land now and pick up the T-West. And pass back. Moon would be kind of annoying, but I think we still race that, so... They're currently dead on board, so they have to have a plan. I mean, or they could just die. That's cool, too. I guess I'm just going to attack first. That'll inform what we get with our Transmute. Because if we attack and get a Valakut in play, we can just go for immediate lethal with Dryad. Dress down. Okay. We're still going to attack and get this Ragavan out of play. Do we play another Titan here anyways in the counterspell? Oh wait, or you know, we could get our whatever we packed for. We could get the pact countered. What else? Oh wait, we can Boseiju the. We could have Boseiju the dress down. I didn't realize we even drew Boseiju. That was a punt. Can we still do that? Pay 2 Boseiju. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Transmute, cast Titan. I mean, we still used to counterspell there, so I guess that's just making us worse against Blood Moon. Transmute for sure. Explosives for 2 to kill the Shredder probably doesn't do it. I think it's just pack. They could counter the pack with their 2 cards here. I mean, I don't think we have an option not to pack here. We just have to make them. Oh, they don't have it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we play Forest, kill the dress down, play Uncounterable Titan, and get some lands. I think that's probably the move. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did not miscount. Goodbye, dress down. Yeah, should have done that before we attacked, but you know, such is life. I didn't realize we drew the perfect card for that too. So now we're just playing it just a little differently. Just a little differently. Say yes to this and get T-West bounce land, I guess. We'll get Garrison this time. We're still good against Blood Moon and Magus because we have double Forest. Otherwise, I would have picked up a Forest as one of the grabs here, but Shredder. Yeah, I don't necessarily see them surviving this, to be honest. I guess they would have to have another dress down. They get multiple looks with the Scalding Tarn that's in play as well, so looks like they may want to draw what's on top as well. I don't know. We'll let them draw here. And we'll pay. We may or may not just be jamming Titan here. I feel like it's more likely that we're not, but I guess we don't even have to tap the Cavern. We can tap Bog, so this is fine. Yes. Consider, sure. Geet Titan. Okay. We can transmute for Sunhome, play Sunhome, and attack with Titan and double strike it for lethal. They would have to have exactly another Unholy Heat, or like an Otawara or something. Oh, Valcut as well. Alright, I guess we're just transmuting for Dryad. Alright, let's see if you have something to answer this opponent. Guess not. Do we even play Cavern? They would have countered the Pact, I think. So let's not play the Cavern. Let's just play Dryad. They get to trigger Shredder here. Oh no! Should have attacked first, I guess, in case of dress down. I mean, we'll put this on the stack. And we win. Okay. Last game. Not last match, but last game. That was a lot closer than I typically like. Yeah, probably still not winning map. Yeah, I'm just going to run it back. That felt pretty good to me. we have to be very aware of the fact that our opponent could just run us over with a turn 1 Ragavan. And hence we're going to keep this hand that has Cavernous Souls and Arboreal Grazer to block Ragavan and Endurance to interact early with Delirium and Murktide Regent and Azusa to ramp. So like, and Titan mana. Like this literally has everything we want. So I think we keep the hand that has everything we want. Name Beast, because heck yeah, Grazer's a beast. Definitely playing it out here, despite that they did not play Ragavan. I guess the one thing it does not have is an answer to Magus or Blood Moon. That is one thing I did not think about. I mean, opponent can't always have it, you know? They haven't fetched yet. Okay. So, there's an argument for playing Cavern on Elemental or on Human here and not playing Dryad, so that if we top deck a basic forest, we can play Dryad and be able to potentially transmute T-West down the line. I don't know how much I care for that idea, though. That might be the best way to play around, like, Mages or something. I think we just play Sunhome and Azusa, to be honest. If they want to counter this, I'm totally fine with it. Play T-West. Play Simic. Pick up the T-West so we can transmute. Yep, if they're just heating an Azusa, I'm pretty happy with this trade. And Bolt Grazer, okay. Are they playing on dashing Ragavan here? Nothing, huh? Just absolutely nothing. I mean, we're going to take this chance to transmute, I think. The Cavern on Dryad, play Dryad. That part we're doing for sure. Leave the blue floating. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, we need the uncounterable, though. Would have been a major punt to not use the uncounterable mana here. Locked into transmuting now. Play Garrison now so they can't do something to deal with our Dryad. Pick up the Cavern, I guess. I guess if our opponent Blood Moons, they're kind of Blood Mooning themselves out of the game too. And we have a 2/4 in play that can potentially kill them. So this is probably the right move. Get Summoner's Pact. We could just get Valhut here, but I think that's going a little too all in on the Dryad. So if they tap out here, I might just Pact. I guess that makes us lose the Blood Moon, which gives them an opportunity. Are we just losing the Blood Moon? Because Pacting for a Titan, when we have Cavern in hand, is actually extremely important. Because otherwise they just counter the Pact. They didn't slam Blood Moon last turn, so they'd have to draw it. I mean, we could still lose to Blood Moon, even if they didn't, because we're not going to be able to Titan this upcoming turn. I think I am going to Pact now, though. If we lose to Blood Moon, then I have accepted that outcome. Oh, they had the Blood Moon. Come on, man. Come on. Well, they got us. I mean, I did say that could happen. We were top decking both Sage. Maybe I should have just been patient. There's no way to know we were top decking an answer to a potential Blood Moon or Magus, though. And, like, if we had top decked Boseiju and, like, planned to answer Blood Moon and then they just played Magus instead, like what? I don't know what we're supposed to do there. Let me know if you would have casted the Summoner's Pact or not. And we still got one more match to play, which I guess means that we are actually 2-2, unfortunately. And I will see you guys in the very next match. All right, guys, I got some bad news. I was not able to finish this league before the deadline, and that means that it kicked me out. I'm not going to leave you guys with just 4 matches, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into a 2-player queue. If you're not interested in watching me playing against some random in the 2-player queue, then go ahead and skip using the links down in the description below to the end if you want to see my thoughts on the list. Nevertheless, let's jump in here for match 5. All right, we are here for match 5 with a very interesting hand. We've got the double Amulet. We've naturally drawn Boros Garrison. If this was any green bounce land and not literally Boros Garrison, this hand would be a snap keep. It might still be a snap keep, to be honest. I don't know. Because we have a green source to cycle explore, but I mean, unless we find exactly like Titan and bounce land or something, we may have trouble getting to Titan mana here, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I have faith. Don't know if I should, but we'll see. Bounce land. Opponent leads on Windswept Heath, by the way. That's an interesting one. Cavern is... I mean, we can play that on Giant and have double green, so we'll go with that. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, maybe leading on Boseiju plus Grazer would have been better, because presumably our opponent's playing Prismatic Ending, so playing out one of these amulets into a Prismatic Ending doesn't seem that fantastic, but, I mean, we have a backup amulet, so maybe we're not losing that much. See Snow Forest. I'm starting to get concerned this might be an Enchantress deck. It could be like a Bant Snow deck of some sort as well, technically. You do see Snow Plains. I think it's just Enchantress. Yep, Sanctum Weaver. It's been a while since I played against Enchantress. I don't know how good we're going to be against Enchantress. We have Force of Vigor, of course, so that should be pretty good. Oh, we even have Boseiju in hand. We can, like, cycle Boseiju. So let's just go ahead and explore and see what we hit. And probably play Land Amulet. Bounce Land's pretty good. Yeah, we'll go Bog into Amulet, I guess. And if we top deck a Titan, then we'll go from there. Holding the Grazer so that next turn we can get up to 10 mana. We float 4 from the Sanctuary. That's 7 total, down to 6, up to 10. Yeah, so technically it lets us double Titan, for example. Sterling Grove. We're really glad they just didn't just go, like, land Blood Moon. That would have been pretty bad. Oh, never mind. They do have Blood Moon. Yeah, that's pretty bad. We have the Boseiju to naturally deal with that, so we can use this to get our Garrison into play. The only thing that punishes that is us drawing literally exactly Colossus, but Garenbrig. Now let's play the Garrison. Oh, this has Shroud, doesn't it? Yeah, that's kind of a problem. Second Blood Moon. Sure. I guess we just have to draw a basic Forest and Titan and not be dead. Yeah, this is not looking great. Yeah, that was probably about the worst thing that could happen to us, is the turn 3 Shroud into Blood Moon. All right. Yeah, we'll just, keep doing this. Actually, you know what? Similar to one of the games we played against Murktide, I'm just going to go ahead and sweep it up here, because if we're drawing exactly second Forest and Titan in order to beat what our opponent's doing, or like if they're sacking Grove, then we have double Boseiju, like that can happen, but I'm just not going to waste anybody's time with that. I'd rather just move on. So we'll bring in the Forces, of course. Dismembers seem pretty decent. And then in this matchup, we definitely don't need Bog, that's for sure. And Cavern's pretty embarrassing. It was embarrassing there. Literally, Basic Force would have been better. So, Explorer's all right. We don't need Grazer quite as much, because unless they have Ragavan, just having the 1-mana ramp is not... In fact, we had Grazer in our hand that whole game. And we even had double Amulet to go along, so... Let's see, what else? They have Blood Moons for sure, so we probably should be trimming on Saga, I think. And by trimming, I mean just, like, cutting it entirely. And I guess Map as well. I mean, Map being able to find Boseiju is kind of interesting, but... We could also go with Tracker, since they're likely going to have access to Path and or on Thin Ice to deal with our threats. So having an extra threat in the form of Tracker might be nice. I don't think we really need it, though. We can probably just rely on Colossus for that. Send it this way. So we can dismember either the creature that taps for mana, like we saw in Game 1, or the one that lets them cantrip every time they cast an enchantment. Those do exist. And this hand's great. We get to play turn 2 Dryad, turn 3 Titan, and probably kill them, so we'll keep it. We even have Boseiju to interact. I'd be very surprised if this is not just a turn 3 kill. Especially with Crumbling Vestige. We'll go Forest Amulet and hope it does not get Prismatic Ending. We have no choice but to play it this way anyways, though, just because we want to be able to play Dryad on 2, so... If they have the Prismatic Ending, then so be it. No ending. Maybe they have Nature's Claim or something. That is a card they could technically have. We'll float a green here and get this Dryad into play. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the Boseiju now. I don't foresee us not just, like, resolving Titan next turn, so... If they somehow kill the Dryad, I think we still can go Bounce Land, Azusa, Bounce Land, pick up Vestige, Vestige, play Titan, so... Feeling pretty decent about this. Probably getting Temple Garden. Yep, and gonna Anthenice the Dryad. No? A Sanctum Weaver. So they are just actually dead. Okay. Well, that's cool, I guess. Summoner's Pact. Okay, well, let's play Garrison. Gonna try to keep Bounce Land in hand here, actually. Just so that we have a ways to trigger Valakut post-combat. I'm also gonna save the Azusa for post-combat as well. Oh wait, this needs to be green. I will just go ahead and pick up the Garrison. Where's Titan? We're gonna get Slayer Stronghold Valakut. Use our Dryad to tap Boseiju for white and haste and attack, and then they will be dead. I guess they could have Force of Vigor, perhaps. It's a little late for that if they have it. Now they have to deal with the Dryad, so I guess they just don't have it. We'll swing with the Dryad too, for good measure. Of course. We'll get Valakut and Vesuva copying Valakut, I suppose. Since we have Summoner's Pact as a backup threat, and we can play another land post-combat to be able to play Azusa, so... Yep, we'll go to game 3. Like I said, that was just a very good hand. Sometimes you just kill your opponent on turn 3, you know, without Saga even. That was a no Saga turn 3 kill. We'll go again. Is it better to have Explorer or Grazer? I feel like Explorer might be better just to dig us to ways to answer enchantments, as that's the main way that we lose, is by getting Blood Moon, for example. Speaking of, we have double basic land in this hand, but everything else is garbage, so we're just going to throw it back. This hand's not fantastic, to be completely honest. We have no ramp. We only have 4 land drops here. We do have double basic, and we even have Force to interact, but like it's so slow. I really don't like it, to be honest, but I feel like we can't afford to mulligan this, so we will keep. I guess we're just bottoming Summoner's Pact here. I mean, maybe we're supposed to bottom Titan even. Because, like, we need all the lands. We could also bottom, like, a random land, like, let's say Slayer Stronghold. I think bottoming Slayer Stronghold is fine, and we can just hope the top deck bounce land and another land. No, actually, just a single bounce land unlocks the mana, because we can then Vesuva the bounce land, so yeah, this is fine. We can actually start by Vesuvaing their snow-covered forest, which I will do for sure. Engineered Explosives is interesting. That'll give us an additional way to deal with something that our opponent could have. We could even just play it on 1 to try to kill a bunch of Utopia Scrolls, for example, but maybe not in the move, I don't know. Well, guess we don't want to yield here. Put the Fear of Force of Vigor into our opponent, and in fact, we do have it, so... There's another Sprawl. I mean, hey, I was talking about Explosives on 1. They've got white and... Looks like white and green are the named choices. Go to Instep. I feel like we maybe want to go ahead and Force, but that will leave us open to Moon. They don't currently have red mana, though. They could always just have Fetch Land and Shock Land and then play Blood Moon, though, so I guess we can't really afford to do anything. Oh, Besaiju's great. We'll play our Misty so we can go and get a basic land and swing it back to them. I still think the safest thing we can do is hold on to this Force of Vigor. I don't know how much we should be scared of the mana from Sanctum Weaver, but we can always just kill whatever it is they play with the Weaver, so... Hopefully. Destiny Spinner. This lets them animate lands into creatures. Or lands into enchantment creatures, I think. No, just creatures. Sterling Grove. They only have one card left. We can either just Besage the Sterling Grove. They'll probably sack it, and they won't even get the search for the land part. And then just hold up Force from this point on. It's probably fine. Or they might just Sterling Grove for a moon right now after floating mana with the Weaver. That would make sense, actually. Yeah, they're floating red, so seems like that's... Oh, they're just casting Blood Moon. Well... I mean, we got to fetch here. The fact we have to Besage you something is annoying, since we kind of wanted this to be able to potentially play as a land. We could also just let it go and plan to hardcast Force at some point in time. I think we're supposed to... hit the Sterling Grove with the Besage. I guess there's no reason to do that now, though. We could also play Explosives on 2, perhaps, using red and green. I think that's going to be better. I'm just going to let it resolve for now. We were one turn away from having Explosives on 2 this upcoming turn. Giving them one less turn with Sanctum Weaver in play would be nice, but I think we'll be good. We could Explosives on 1 and pop it. I don't think that does anything, though. EE on 2 is looking like the move. Yeah, we'll play the Vestige and play EE on 2. This also has the added benefit of dealing with the Sterling Grove, so... And we'll see if they activate the Sterling Grove on our end step. We might want to set an upkeep stop to force them on upkeep, just so they don't get the mana from Sanctum Weaver. Assuming they sack the Sterling Grove, we hit Sanctum Weaver and Moon, and deny their mana a bit. I guess not. Grazer actually pitches to Force, so that's not too bad. Lots of mana. Animating a land into a creature. Okay. I don't know that we care too much about this. We're taking 12, 14 damage, but that's not going to be enough. We'll be able to pop Explosives, deal with their Destiny Spinner, and then deal with Moon with a Force, and just try to go from there, I guess. Land. Perfect. Now we don't have to play the Besage out. And we definitely want to pop the Explosives right now, I think. So. Oh, they didn't sack the Sterling Grove. Interesting. Okay. Probably still just going to force the Vigor here. If they have nothing, then we'll do nothing. This lets us hardcast Force, so. Land. I mean, Besage is legendary, but it would let us cast Titan next turn if we float before we do anything. If they just keep top decking basics, that's good for us also, so. Yeah, let's get this Blood Moon out of play. Just hardcast it, hitting a Mana Source and Blood Moon because it's free. And we'll slam Titan and see how it goes. Now we don't even have to waste the Besage from hand. That's fantastic. We just have a casual 4 basic lands in play. That's cool, I guess. We have Summoner's Pact for backup, so we can just get Growth Chamber to pick up Besage and T-West anyways. So if we top deck a balance land, we can transmute the T-West. Feel pretty good about this. If they on Thin Ice our Titan, we can destroy the on Thin Ice with Besage and get another trigger. And we win the match. Cool. All right, well, that means that we are now 3-2, as you can see below. I will say that I do think that the Hydroid Krasis tech actually is pretty decent. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple Krasis in the sideboard of this list. I think that maybe the tracker, despite the fact that it was very good the times we played it, I feel like you don't want more than one tracker. Maybe the one tracker is not necessary. I could also see possibly coming in Endurance, but I like Endurance, so I wouldn't do that. Probably just tracker Explosives, play a couple of Krasis, and call it a day. The third Besage didn't feel that great to me either. I feel like maybe these 3 could be messed around with, like cut these 2, play a couple Krasis, keep the tracker, something along those lines. Other than that, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the list. Definitely against the Blood Moon decks that we played, being able to have 1 Tribe Elder to pack for could be useful, but I don't think it's really necessary, and I vastly prefer Explorer outside of that like niche usage of Tribe Elders, so yeah, I mean, what can I say? I feel like Amulet still is generally strong. I think that just having a couple of Hydroid Krasis to help with the blue-red matchup kind of improves Amulet's positioning at the moment. Definitely having some sort of plan for blue-red Murktide is where you want to be for Amulet, because, you know, with the addition of things like Endurance and Dismember to the sideboard to help deal with DRC and Murktides and Magus of the Moons and turn 1 Ragavans and stuff, it is very possible to do well in that matchup, you know, especially with, you know, maximum copies of Cavernous Souls. Like, it seems like we're playing a lot for that matchup, but it's really, really easy to play Cavernous Souls, and we want to be playing Endurance against the Living End matchup, for example, and control matchups so we can recycle our threats or Summoners Packs or Sagas and Expedition map. Like, against control, Endurance is fine as a 1 or 2 of. And Dismember is just always good in this deck for our bad matchups. So, like, it's really not that terribly difficult to tune for the Murktide matchup, and I think that's where we struggled the most. Everything else about the deck just performed the way we wanted it to. I'm a pretty big fan of the 1 Crumbling Vestige. It sort of almost functions when you have an Amulet out as if it was a 12th 2-mana source, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Redface Menace, signing off.